Alrighty, everybody, Mezamat back here with another video for you guys. Appreciate y'all for watching this. It is June 27th, 2024 here on this lovely summer afternoon. We are going to be doing extreme significant severe weather coverage for you guys this afternoon across much of the northern plains. We are expecting gorilla-sized hail for parts of Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska. We've got a couple tornadoes, a couple could strong not be ruled out potentially, and significant wind gusts up to 80 miles an hour across a possible MCS squall line setup tonight in North and South Dakota. And then we've got another day of severe weather tomorrow. We're expecting severe storms from Colorado all the way up to parts of Minnesota, Iowa, parts of Kansas City getting into this tomorrow as well. So there is a tornado wind hail and risk with that tomorrow. And then this will push off where we have an even elongated lower end severe weather risk from Colorado all the way up to the Northeast on your Saturday. So that, and we're also watching the tropics where we could be seeing some type of named storm here in the next couple of days as well. It could be as soon as potentially tonight if that low can develop down there. So got a lot to talk about here, guys. Like I said, we will be doing live severe weather coverage today starting at 3 p.m. Central Time for all of my people up in the northern and central plains. Keep you guys safe tonight, as always. But let's go ahead and jump into this as well. Like I said, I do appreciate y'all for watching this. If y'all have any questions or comments, as always, feel free to put that in the chat. If not, I'll see you guys in the stream. We'll go ahead and start out today where we do have a marginal risk of severe weather down here across the coastline from Georgia up to South Carolina, North Carolina. Got one little random severe thunderstorm warning. This will be for daytime heating today, where we could see some wind and some hail across this marginal shaded area. Not expecting any tornadoes or nothing crazy, just kind of be mindful of that. This risk zone today, it's pretty big. We've got a slight risk of severe weather over here in parts of Utah and Colorado. If you were in these areas here, be mindful there's a good chance that we could see some wind and some hail, maybe up to 60, 65 miles an hour, and some hail 1 to 2 inches diameter. There's a big old marginal risk zone in that green shaded area. Anybody in that green shaded area has a chance for 1 to 2 inch hail. It's a smaller risk, and then winds up to 60 miles an hour. But the bigger risk zone that we're going to be talking about is a pretty strong upper level low that'll be bringing the chance for tornadoes, wind, and some significant hails this afternoon to parts here of anybody in that slight risk zone. This basically extends from northern Texas outside of Amarillo up to the panhandle of Oklahoma. You got parts of Kansas in here, mostly all of Kansas with the exception of Wichita, Kansas City, and that. And then all of Nebraska, pretty much most of South Dakota, North Dakota, eastern and central Montana, and then northeast Colorado and Wyoming in that slight risk. And then we've got a pretty big enhanced risk of severe weather here. Anybody in that orange shaded risk zone there, that's a level 3 out of 5. That's going to be for 5% tornado risk and a 2%. Wind is up to 80 miles an hour possible in that hatched area that you'll see here in just a second. And then we'll have a chance for hail up to 2.5 inches or bigger in diameter. Anybody in that orange and yellow shaded risk zone. And I'll go ahead and pull up what those risk zones are going to look like as far as just different topics here. We go and we look at our tornado percentage today. 2% chance of seeing a tornado in that green shaded area from Montana down to South Dakota, Wyoming, parts of Colorado, and into Kansas, and then a 5% there from basically central and northern Nebraska all the way up into the Dakotas and Montana. Be mindful of that, guys. Wind risk is going to be the bigger issue today. Anybody in that hatched area, 15 or 30% there has a chance of seeing up to 80 mile an hour wind gusts or higher. Outside the hatch would be 15, 30, and 5% chance of seeing winds up to 60 to 75 miles an hour. And then we go and we look at the hail, and you can see the hatched 30% and 15% hail risk up to 2.5 inches or higher. We'll probably see some apple size or some grapefruit size hail in those areas today. And then outside of the hatched, 15 and 5 in the yellow and maroon. We'll go ahead and talk about tomorrow as well, where we do have another pretty big shot of severe weather. We got a marginal risk of severe weather anywhere in that green. Then we've got a yellow, in that yellow shaded color there, that's a slight risk of severe weather. I would not be surprised if we get some type of enhanced risk somewhere in here, potentially by tomorrow, just due to the fact that the tornado risk is going to be pretty decent. It's going to be conditional. Maximized tornado risk is going to be over southern, southeastern Nebraska, and southern Iowa, western Missouri, and eastern Kansas. We'll be watching out for a couple supercells that could produce some tornadoes. The wind and hail are going to be maximized to the western side of Kansas and Nebraska and eastern Colorado. There we'll be looking at that tornado risk tomorrow being a 2% in the green, at 5% in the maroon. You can see Kansas City, Topeka, Manhattan, a lot of these higher populated areas in that maximized tornado risk tomorrow. Wind threat, you would think it's centered toward the 5. It's not. It's actually centered toward the Rocky Mountains here, off the slopes, down sloping winds out of the southwest here. We could see anybody in that hatched 15% there up to 60 to 75 mile an hour wind gust. And then we do have a hatched hail risk up to 2.5 inches in diameter as well. Now, one more day, we have another day of severe weather. We've actually got 5 days of significant severe weather possible over the next couple of days. We have a day 3 risk. There's the marginal risk that it goes from Colorado and New Mexico all the way up here into parts of PA. Most of this is going to be driven by daytime heating. That cold front will be kind of staggered all the way down. We'll have even a slight risk of severe weather for a couple of tornadoes, potentially in Ohio and PA on your Saturday. And then everybody else in that marginal risk zone will be wind and hail. We'll get more of that update tomorrow. And then, as of this morning, we have another area of severe weather. A small slight risk, level 2 out of 5, has been given for parts of eastern Montana and western North Dakota. We'll know more about this as we get closer to this event. We'll have another trough ejection on Sunday that comes through for this. This will be your Sunday forecast. And then we have another day of severe weather on your Monday. A slight risk of severe weather given for parts of central northern Nebraska and southern South Dakota. You guys have just been getting hammered over and over and over again. And so we're going to have to watch this. We will probably be live each day for the next 5 days plus if this weather continues to be a trend on where it's going at. Another thing as well, guys, we will talk about the tropics in a second. We're still got a 30% chance of this becoming a named storm in the next 7 days, 10% in the 2-day period, but we're really going to be watching this one. And we do have a pretty strong area of discussion or area of investigation over here in the major development region. This is the first time this year, or really in general, that we've had a storm trying to develop this early into late June and early July. As far as this area goes, this typically doesn't see active severe or active tropical systems until closer to July, September, August. So this is something to be mindful of. We are now upgraded to a 60-80. Basically, we're going to get a named storm in the next 2 days. It's a 60% chance, 80% chance in the next 7 days. Where this goes, we will talk about this more on the live stream today, but the models kind of have this trending more now towards South America, more than where they were yesterday, which was out towards the Gulf, which would be a good thing. Models are still kind of all over the place. There's multiple scenarios with this. Not time to get scared or any of that, guys, along the Gulf Coast or Florida. Just be mindful. We could have a tropical system here. We'll probably have a potentially even a hurricane by the end of the weekend into early next week. Just be mindful of that here if you're out here in the islands, Caribbean Sea, Puerto Rico. You've got the Lesser Antilles here look to be impacted as we go into the weekend and into next week, so be mindful of that. We'll keep an idea on this for you guys. I do want to talk about what the models and what the radar is going to look like here over the next couple of hours and what we could be seeing for today, and then we'll kind of talk into a little bit about next week, and then that'll be it for today. Models, like I said, they don't do a great job at showing where the actual convection is, but you can see where that dry line setup is going to be at, where we're going to be looking at that big chance of supercells up and down the dry line there from Kansas, Nebraska, all the way up to South and North Dakota and parts of Montana. As we go through the overnight hours tonight, or late evening into the overnight hours, we expect an MCS squall line to develop where that highest 30% hatch wind threat will be. You can see now supercells developing in parts of Kansas, Nebraska, all the way up into South and North Dakota there, and then this will continue to 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And then this should start to weaken as we get closer to midnight, then getting into Montana and seeing heavy rainfall. And then we'll set the stage for tomorrow, which we'll talk about tomorrow on the live stream today and in tomorrow's video. One more really quick thing for you guys. I just want to run over the general pattern. We are going to be seeing excessive heat next week for much of the United States. The Ohio Valley, Southeast, Gulf of Mexico states, Southern Plains, Central Plains. High pressure system is really going to be dominant next week. You can see that high setting up over Texas there. We've got a zonal and meridial jet stream trying to kind of back and forth develop here through the weekend. You can see our next big trough ejection here, moving these severe weather into the Ohio Valley and Midwest and Northern Plains on Saturday. And then we're going to get another trough ejection. You can see that little divot in the jet stream there for your Sunday, Monday, Tuesday time frame, where we could see more severe weather up and down the Northern Plains and Central Plains again as we go into next week for the first week of July. And then July 4th right now looks active. We actually might have a chance for some severe weather, maybe some general thunderstorms across the Midwest and Ohio Valley for July 4th. We'll keep an eye on this, but you got another major trough ejection trying to develop as we go into the second week of July, first weekend of July there, and then this would be a interesting setup here if this happens. And we've got multiple tropical systems to watch. So we're going to talk more about this, guys, kind of as we go throughout the next couple of days. We've got significant severe weather today, so I wanted to get that out of the question or out of the conversation first. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys on the live stream here in about 2 hours today. I appreciate y'all for watching this. Make sure y'all share this to a friend and a family member, as always, to keep them safe, let them know what's going on. But I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video or on the live stream tonight. Be safe, be weatherware, and I'll see you guys later.